The list of ingredients includes eggs, of course, shrimp, Vidalia sweet onion, celery, salt and pepper, mayo, mustard, fresh herbs such as parsley and dill, and dry herbs such as lemon peel, we use the one by McCormick, and tarragon. Before cooking our eggs, I'd like to share with you some cooking tips on how to make the perfect hard-boiled eggs. Now, according to simplyrecipes.com, it takes about 12 minutes, give or take, how many eggs you're cooking. But did you know that older eggs are easier to peel than fresh eggs? That's right. You should buy your eggs about 2 weeks ahead of time before you actually boil them. If you need to have easy to peel eggs and you only have fresh eggs, they recommend you steam them for about 15 minutes. My other hot water going, and I'm going to be boiling my shrimp, my fresh shrimp. Now you can get already boiled shrimp and just defrost it and use it. But I found that if you take this extra step, it actually gets it the texture that you will want. Salt in there, get that going. This is now, and you do want to cook them kind of at the same time. Okay, let that boil. I'm using 2 cutting boards, one for just vegetables and onions and herbs and so forth, and the other is anytime I work with seafood or meat of any sort, I like to use another cutting board for that. And then I also like to line everything, especially when I'm dealing with seafood. And my first prepping is going to be my vegetables. I'm going to do my onion last so that I'm not crying at the beginning of this thing. We'll go ahead and start with our celery, and we're just going to go ahead and cut them into small cubes depending on if you're going to have small children eating with you or not. But the important part is to go ahead and cut them all the same size. And now we're going to put them in a container, get them ready to be added to the mixture. And next is our herbs. Our parsley is going to be nicely chopped, and our dill as well. And you can chop them together since they're both going into the same bowl later on. And now, finally, our onion. This is where I get to cry every time, so I save it for last. And same rules apply as the celery, cube it small. Okay, and on this side here, okay, while I'm letting that kind of dry off, I've got my cutting board that I'll be cutting the shrimp on. Just something to absorb a lot of the water, and then a paper towel. Now you don't really want to pour it on here because then you're going to get a lot of the moisture. So what I'm going to actually do is get a pair of tongs. You'll come to find that doing it this way reduces the amount of moisture. Just be sure to not use rubber tongs like I did. They get really slippery. Though I didn't have time to steam my fresh eggs, I did have time to throw them all in ice bath water, making my older eggs easier to peel, not so much my fresh ones. This is where lining with newspaper comes in really handy. As you can see, cleaning is a cinch and quick. There are 2 different ways I like to cut my shrimp. The first way is simply to cut it in small bite-sized pieces. Not so small that you can pipe them, but small enough that it can be mixed in with the yolk portion of the eggs and spooned on to the white or albumin portion of the egg. The second way is to fillet it and then to cut it into small bite-sized pieces. Now that you're finished cutting the shrimp, the final prep is the mashing of the yolk. Yes, you want to mash it with a tool like that, and you want it to have a fluffy consistency, just like this. And now you want to add mayonnaise, just a dollop. Less is better than more, because this is a kind of a work in progress. So now you want to add salt and pepper. And dry tarragon. Before you just add it in, mash it up first. This releases all of the natural oils if there's any left in there, which usually there is. And now the lemon peel. You don't need much, just a once through. And finally, mustard. A good dollop of that. Now you just want to mix this mixture until it's nice and mixed up. Once you've done one round of ingredients, the best way to make this to your preference is really to feel it out and to taste it. Really, I like this consistency where it's just about creamy, enough where you can almost pipe it, but thick enough that I can add all of my other ingredients like my vegetables and my herbs. And then of course I will always salt and pepper anything that I throw in there on top. And then mix it again. Now once you have the mixture ready, you can add your shrimp and mix that together as well. And from this point forward, it's really just a combination of adding ingredients and seasonings until you like what you smell, taste, and see. As you can see, there's a reason I like to call it Decadent deviled eggs, because I love adding shrimp. And now for the most fun part of this exercise, filling your deviled eggs with that delicious filling. You'll want to fill each one to the brim, its own individual little meal. And now you're ready for toppings. And this is just sweet paprika. You can skip a row if you want to, and then I'll leave the other half for people who don't want paprika. Or we can throw a little bit of beautiful green, like a little bit of dill on top, and then you can add just like that. Okay, so let me show that to you again with my really dirty. Okay, so dill on top, and then a piece of lovely. Now that looks so good that I'm about to eat that. So I'm just gonna grab that, and oh my goodness, excuse me. That's so good. No. Doesn't that look amazing? And here's our final product. I like to have my deviled eggs like a lunch, stacked to the top, to the brim, with some romaine lettuce on the side, and ending with some delicious dragon fruit. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you give it a try. It's really easy, and it is super delicious and decadent. Just look at all of that.